Do you eat, sleep, dream about anything related to eye care?
So do we. This is See What We See with Lauren and Martin. My name's Lauren Cashin.
And I'm Martin LeBeau. We want to share anything that's cool about eye care.
We want you to see what we see. So sit back and enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to See What We See with Lauren and Martin. Hi, Lauren. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Martin. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Happy New Year. All the best.
Thank you. And all the best to you and your family. Let's hope for a healthy, happy, prosperous year for all of us.
Absolutely. The healthy always comes first, because if you don't have health, it's hard to enjoy the rest, right?
That's for sure. Yeah.
So you doing anything special during the holidays, or?
Hung out quite a bit, saw family. I'm a homebody to begin with, and I love the holiday season because people shut down, slow down, drop by a little bit, family, and spend time with my grandchildren, and that's the best time.
For sure. I mean, it's always important to be able to get shut down a little bit, right? And spend time with the people that are important to you, like your family and your grandkids and everything else. So yeah. I'm glad you were able to do that.
Yeah, and how about you? You had people over. You got to visit. So.
I did. I had the whole family coming over from Montreal and from Morocco, so it was great, and I got to spend some time with them. And I wish I was able to do more of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It comes up fast and it's fleeting. It's gone pretty fast.
That's right. But you know what? We're here for a reason. This is our first podcast of the year, first podcast of 2023. Now, let's be honest with our listeners. We did record this podcast just before Christmas, timing-wise and everything else. But we had a great conversation.
We sure did. And it was like chapter 2 of a conversation we had in the last couple of months. It was, with somebody from a company. There a lot of information's been coming out. I'll say what it is. It's Specsavers, and they've come in hot, and they've got big plans. And we've already had one conversation with our friend and colleague, Claudia Rojas. And we thought that we should dig a little deeper and invite someone else from Specsavers, along with Claudia, to come back and have a talk with us.
Oh, you're absolutely right. They've been coming in hot late 2022, and they have big plans for 2023. And it was great to be able to sit down with Claudia and Mike and then find out a little bit more about their company and some of their plans and how they see our industry. So How about you bring our guest in, Lauren?
Thank you, Martin. Well, I'm thrilled today to tell you that we have 2 special guests from Specsavers. And I think we'll start off with, hey, guys, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little about what you do. Mike, why don't we start with you?
Great. Good to be with you, Martin and Lauren. And I'm Mike. My surname is difficult for people to say, but it's actually not that difficult. It's Protopsaltis. So it's a Greek surname. Born in Sydney, Australia, left as a young kid, ended up in the UK, and I started studying optics in 1982. So I've been around for a bit, about 40 years, nearly as long as Specsavers, and qualified dispensing optician, and have had a phenomenal career. And when people sort of joined the profession, nobody told me that I could see the world, but I've managed to see the world as an optician as well. And it's been a phenomenal journey for me from a career perspective, and also what has been accomplished in optics in my 40 years. And certainly the profession has changed in many ways. And my current job with Specsavers is the Partnerships Director in Canada. It's a grand title. What it really means is that I'm out there really getting to know as many people as I can, and given an opportunity for many that have an aspiration and ambition to start as a business owner, to have that start in life. And that's what Specsavers are really great at doing, is finding great people and doing great things together.
Cool. Claudia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
For sure, Lauren. Thank you. I think many of you may already know me. I'm Claudia Rojas. I'm a refracting optician based out of BC. And I am the head of Opticianry for Specsavers, and of course, an advocate for Opticianry at heart.
And
Excellent.
this is Claudia's second podcast as well with us, Lauren.
Yes,
So,
it is.
you know, she's an expert now.
She's becoming a regular on our show.
Exactly.
Great. That's great. So why don't we just jump right into it? So we're here today to talk, obviously, about Specsavers. And it's about a year now Specsavers has been in Canada. And there's so many things we can talk about. But, you know, as we're out and about, Martin, you know, that we've heard different things. You know, everybody's always being so critical of the new kid on the block. And, you know, and people, in fact, the better you do, the more critical they're going to be of you. So I was thinking that we should get the elephant in the room. Let's just get it out there right now. For some reason, and I have no idea why, a few people are out there saying that down in Australia, down under, hey, I got to use the term, that Specsavers actually was involved in the deregulating of the dispensing of eyewear. So, Mike, I'm going to throw that one at you. So tell us, where the heck could this come from?
Actually, let's clarify a couple of things, Lauren. These are stories that we've heard, right? We've looked online. We've looked at different, you know, we've talked to different people as well, and we haven't found anything out there that backs up that story. So again, we're not sure. It's just a story. We just want to get to the bottom of it, and so we can move on and have a great rest of the podcast.
So true. Please, Mike.
Oh, great, thanks. There's a simple answer. We were not involved at all. What we were involved with is supporting the opticians profession in Australia. Historically, Victoria and Queensland were not regulated. So when you look at historical facts, Western Australia, South Australia, and New South Wales had some degree of regulation. And indeed, the last state to deregulate was in New South Wales in 2009. Specsavers were not involved at all in any of that. What we were keen to do, though, is support the opticians profession, and we have a very successful track record of doing this in Australia and New Zealand, but also even previously in the UK and certainly other markets that we operate in Europe. If you look at Australia, over the last sort of 15 years, not only we have worked with our partners to create more and more qualified Cert 4, as is known, the course in Australia. There's an awful lot more qualified opticians through the system because of us and how we work with our partners, how supportive we are of the profession. Even more so, in 2019, we created an avenue where we could actually offer an opportunity for every single qualified optician in Australia and New Zealand to step up from Cert 4 onto the full fellowship of British Dispensing Opticians qualification as well. So since 2019, Specsavers is supported even further by having that association with the ABDO in the UK to fly over and spend time with the cohort of students that really qualify from Cert 4 all the way up to the FBDO qualification as well. So not involved in regulation or deregulation, we were involved in promoting and supporting the profession thereafter.
Wonderful. So there we heard it, Martin. Heard it from the people who know. So we're done with that rumor.
Absolutely. And especially, like, we have Claudia here on the podcast as well. And I know Claudia personally, you know Claudia personally. There's no way she would be working for a company that does not look at opticians in a positive way and to further the profession. I mean, I hope I'm right, Claudia, but I know I'm right. So on this one.
I can assure you of that, Martin. Like I said at the beginning, I'm extremely passionate about the profession, and regulation is quite important to maintain the sustainability of the profession. One of the things that was very attractive for me when I first joined Specsavers was that advocacy piece for opticians, where the aim is to elevate the role of opticians at the same level as all other eye care professionals. So this gave me an opportunity and a channel to do what I love doing the most, which is advocate for opticians. And of course, I have been quite engaged in association roles and collaborating with colleges, even in quality assurance programs. So it only made sense, and it was a natural move to be a part of an organization that truly appreciates and values opticians as an eye care professional of the ecosystem.
Cool. Makes total sense. So now let's dig into the business model a little bit. We talked about that a little bit in our last podcast with you, Claudia, but we have Mike here. That's the kind of the professional, the guru when it comes to this. So Mike, why don't you go through us with the process and how exactly it works when an optician wants to partner up with Specsavers?
Yes. Thanks, Martin. By the way, I wouldn't call myself a guru. I'm just an optician like the rest of us on this call, and I'm just sharing my experiences when I go out and have conversations with people. Undoubtedly, our model has provided now an immense opportunity for opticians to really go a step further and make it a lot easier for people that have an ambition to be a business owner, to grow beyond their optician role. A business owner who's an optician never stops being an optician, by the way. The reality is that, in the past, if they had an ambition and a bit of a dream, they might have stopped themselves because they got a little bit scared of the costs, of the risk, the fact that any new business might not really take off, and they need to have some steady income called a salary when they work somewhere else. So what was a dream probably never materialized, which is a little bit sad in itself, because anybody that has a dream to grow should be allowed to grow and have an opportunity to grow. So this is where we come in. So Specsavers is a business that has been created to provide opportunities for optometrists and opticians. And my role when I go out there is to find that ambitious optician, somebody that has had a successful career so far, runs a store, is a manager, is involved in the people component of the business. Because when we're talking about people, it's not just about the customers. They're very important, super important. We wouldn't have a business without customers, but it's very much about the team around you as well. And we're looking for talent. We're looking for ambitious, talented people. We help them start out in business. So certainly we remove a lot of the barriers that might have stopped them in the past. And I love my job. I think I have the best job in Specsavers, to be honest, because I'm out there having conversations with people. How cool is that? And if I can find the right person to help them, then I'm delighted. And every now and again, once the businesses have kind of opened up, I'm a little bit embarrassed because I get thank you emails about starting them out in business. And frankly, I do the easy thing. They do the difficult thing, because once you start a business, it's about commitment, energy, ambition, embracing your team and looking after your community, your customers around you. But the reality is that they kind of reflect on the fact that we could help them. And that's why I have the best job in the whole of Specsavers.
So just diving a little deeper into the actual business model, because we know it's a collaborative model for opticians and optometrists to work together. And we're very fortunate now that in Ontario, up until a few years ago, we couldn't work together. We couldn't be on the same premises, let alone have interests in the same business. So maybe one of you guys could tell us how the model is set up, and is it attainable? Do I have to cash in my RSPs, my retirement fund, to get into this? Or, how easy it is it to get rolling with you guys?
Well, why don't I start and explain a little bit about the model, and I'm sure that Claudia will jump in as well. First and foremost, you do not have to cash in your retirement savings. Leave them where they are, and hopefully they carry on growing, and everybody's happy really alone. We came here with an ambition to find the best people. And also, we understood earlier on that we wanted to grow fast. And growing to a scale really means that you can leverage on everything that you do as a business. And obviously, it's about improving access across Canada, not just in a particular province. And ultimately, the approach that we took here is, in growing fast, we wanted to back the right people, find the right location, grow organically, not through acquisition. And quite often with acquisitions, you might need to buy a business that you might need to completely re-engineer, so that carries some additional costs as well. So there's a commercial decision behind this as well. But what we did here, which was totally radical, is that we set out to find the best people, and their own financial investment for a brand new store and a stake into the retail store. And every retail partner, an optician, a manager that becomes a retail partner with Specsavers, their personal investment is only $25,000 plus taxes. That's it. So if you, I mean, Lorne, you're a business owner, you've been in the business for a long time, as has Martin, and to create a store, it costs an awful lot of money.
Sure does.
Currently, we spend anywhere between $500,000 to $700,000 to create a store. And we took the decision to say, whilst your personal investment is only $25,000 plus taxes, then we don't really expect any of our partners to repay Specsavers the cost of creating the new store. So we really effectively building a fantastic new store, and we're giving it away to the right person for free. That is our decision to invest our money in people. And effectively, if we're bringing in the right person that is aligned with our ambition and vision that we have to really improve people's lives through better sight, essentially, it's a no-brainer for us. We looked at it as an investment and backing the right people to be successful in partnership with us. The retail partner also draws a salary from day one. So we know that one of the things that people have is called life outside work as well. And we wanted to take that worry away. And every partner that comes on board has a regular salary out of the business. That's the sort of beauty about working in partnership with us. We can take care of the niggly little things, including also, as you know, as a business owner, the whole host of other things that need to happen in a business that potentially might take away your focus and your energy from doing what you do best, which is embracing your own team, helping them develop, creating opportunities for them, look after them, and also together look after customers.
Okay. As you said, it's you're really busy when you're running a business, and your stores, from what I've seen so far, you lean towards mall locations, long hours. Of course, we're all opticians. We know what it's like to work retail with the medical slant added into that. It really can be kind of stressful on a given day. So lots of hard work. So Claudia, how do you achieve work-life balance in a situation like this? I don't think I ever did through my 50 years so far in the business. I think I've neglected the life part a little bit at times. But Claudia, can you tell us, does Specsavers have anything in their policies or in their whole makeup that make it a little easier for us to have a life balanced with our professional side?
Absolutely, Lord. Well, first, Specsavers has a very strong support system for all of our stores and our clinics, which allows to take a bit of that burden when it comes to the administrative end of things. And it is that teamwork that allows to have the stores the ability to focus on being patient-centric and client-centric, and not having that worry of I have to work after work to complete some of the administrative tasks. So that's number one. But also, Specsavers wants to make sure that everybody's well taken care of. For example, we get our birthdays off. We are given a volunteer day per year to make sure that we engage ourselves in doing other things outside of work that may be of interest to us. And of course, our vacation, we start with 3 weeks of vacation, which is always nice.
Well,
I'm just going to go back to what Mike said a little bit earlier. And you said, I can own a store for $25,000 or be a partner in a store for $25,000. Where can I sign up to get 10 of those? I mean, like we were saying earlier, it does take like $500,000 almost to $1 million to have a nice store to build it up from scratch. So yeah. $25,000, I want multiple of these. Can I get on the waiting list or something?
Yeah. Martin, you're absolutely right to ask the question, and it's such a great story with low investment. I get that question quite regularly, and quite often I tend to sort of respond in the way that I will respond to you as well. Specsavers is not a business that says no to everything right up front. We want to understand the individual, get to know people. You probably know, Martin, that it takes a special set of skills to run 10 stores and end up with 10 full glasses rather than 10 half empty glasses. And there are partners that have multiple locations. There are partners that have a great deal of experience and have demonstrated that they can actually get the best out of multiple locations as well. So it's not a no up front, but it's not a yes up front either. As I said to you before, I do have a great job at Specsavers because I spend all my days and nights really talking to people and getting to know them. Why would we want to stop somebody who is tremendously capable to really grow and grow and grow? That's not who we are. We're not a handbrake here on anything. But equally, it's about helping them succeed, not setting them up to fail. That would have been quite easy for me to say, yes, there you go, there's 10 stores, because we'll grow even faster. But that's not the right thing always to do. So we will always be there to do the right thing always.
It's a sad answer for my part, because you're basically telling me, no, you can't. Even though you said no, we don't say no. But no. All joking aside, and that makes a lot of sense, right? Again, work balance, balanced life situation, like Claudia was mentioning, and I can see that. I mean, it must be very, very difficult, especially when you're starting from something like that, from the foundation, if I could put it this way.
It is. Do you know, Martin, I think that if I just sort of add a little bit of that personal sort of story about this, because I was quite an ambitious person when I was a bit younger. I still am. Different things that I'm ambitious about. I think that hopefully comes across what I'm really passionate about right now, and have been for the last few years in doing this job across Australia, New Zealand, now Canada. When I was a younger person and I was pretty successful as in a corporate role, I decided to go into franchising, and I asked my then boss for 4 stores. I knew the business inside out, and I picked the stores and came up with a very good plan in my head. And what Andy, his name, said to me then, still remember today. Mike says, why don't you start with 2 and then sort them out and then come back and ask me for the other 2? Well, Martin, I never really went back for the other 2 because I had my hands full with 2. And I was a pretty successful and pretty experienced, probably a little bit too self-assured and too confident, because I then realized that running 2 was a big enough job. And actually, about 4 or 5 years later, I sold 1 and I only stayed with 1 for the remainder of the period as well, because I thought that 1 was enough, because as the business was growing and growing and growing, I needed to give it 100% of my attention. So I didn't want to dilute that. So certainly from a personal perspective, I always share these stories and, ask people to reflect a little bit, because I understand the question. It's too good of an offer to not ask the question.
Absolutely, you're right. I mean, personal experience as well. I did something very similar to you. I know Lauren did the same thing, and we all ended up with 1 store at the end because
back to
we
1.
give it our all. Right?
For sure.
Yeah. And additionally to that question, earlier you mentioned that, well, you guys don't do a lot of acquisition. But does that mean that you guys are not looking into acquisition at all? So let's say, again, tomorrow morning, somebody comes out and say, well, I have a store. I want to be part of the Specsavers family. Are you guys going to have a conversation with them? Or are you going to say, actually, you know what? No, we just want to open from scratch.
The answer is I will always have a conversation with anybody that reaches out. As I said, I'm in the business of really talking to people all the time and getting to know not only Canada and optics and how the industry works, but the individuals. Very important. We don't assume anything, and every day is a school day. I keep on saying this regularly. And if you think you know everything, you've already missed a few things. When an individual, if you're referring to an example of an independent optician, optometrist that runs a business that sees eye to eye with us and likes what we do and wants to be part of the family, of course, we want to embrace them. We will look at where the location is. We traditionally go for high footfall location, and incidentally, Lorne, it's not just shopping malls, it's really any location that makes sense, because obviously every community is a bit different, every town is a bit different. It could be some open marketplaces, it could be some high street locations. We will go anywhere that makes sense, that provides an easy access really for customers to come in and see us. And ultimately then, Martin, it comes down to the individual circumstances around the person that is approaching us. If it doesn't make sense for the person first that has approached us to really convert the business into a Specsavers, we would be the first ones to tell them. This is never going to be about a numbers game and about making the wrong decisions for the individuals. We care enough about the individual to really always put them first, the same way that our business always puts customers first. So it's not, I will always understand first and then really walk the path together with making the right decisions for the individual.
So we've been talking about business models, things like that. But why don't we talk a little bit about why a lot of us became opticians, aside from making a living. But people who practice opticianry passionately, we just really want to give people the best vision they can have, right? And I read something the other day, actually, I believe it was a survey done by Specsavers, and that 1 in 4 people who don't wear glasses have not had their eyes examined in the last 10 years, and 49% of the respondents have insurance. They have insurance benefits that they're not going to use by the end of the year. Here we are. Here's the business side. We're leaving money on the table, but the goal also is to get people need to get their eyes examined. So I know that Specsavers has that vision also, and it's reflected in suggesting eye exams. And maybe, Claudia, you can tell us, when it comes to eye exams, how does Specsavers make it more accessible to the average person?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, the way we differentiate ourselves is through our focus of making quality eye care more accessible and making eyewear affordable. We give the same royalty treatment per se to every single customer and patient that walks through our door. And everyone goes through the same customer journey or patient journey, where they experience all of our equipment. We've got amazing technology. We offer OCTs to every single patient that comes in for an eye exam. And of course, we want to make sure it's a comprehensive journey where they see the optometrist, they see an optician on premise, and later on, our eyewear is affordable enough that they can choose multiple pairs. We all have more than one pair of shoes, and it should be no different with eyewear. So I look at it from that perspective. And, this end of the year, Lauren, it's very exciting for us because it marks a milestone. We're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of our first store and clinic being opened in Nanaimo, British Columbia. And that's very exciting. Our clinic was able to see 4,500 patients, and 5,400 customers were seen in that first year. And this means 8,000 pairs of new glasses. So, we're making this value proposition affordable and reachable to anybody that needs eyewear and eye care. And in 2022, our optometry partners have seen nearly 50,000 patients for eye exams, and our stores have sold over 82,000 pairs of new eyewear. So just to give you an idea, in the last 30 days, we have helped nearly 10,000 customers get prescription glasses, of which over half of them visiting us came with an outside prescription. So we're very excited to see the results of what our vision is and the vision that Specsavers brought into the Canadian market.
Can I just ask a quick question? It's slide in here somewhere. Contact lenses obviously are still fairly popular. I assume Specsavers does offer contact lens fittings. And my second part of the question would be, is that the optician's job or is it through the optometry side?
Great question. As eye care professionals, opticians do definitely have the option of being able to fit the contact lenses. And it really will depend on how each practice determines or decides they would like to offer that service. In some instances, we would have the optometrist, and in some instances, opticians. But of course, we encourage opticians to practice to their full scope of the profession. So in many instances where we've got a contact lens practitioner, we will ensure to encourage that
Now, when you mentioned full scope of practice, Claudia, does that mean that you guys offer low vision services as well, or is that something coming in the future?
It's definitely something in the books, and it will be driven by demand. So I'm sure as that presents, we will be exploring that.
That's great. Through conversation with different people at Specsavers, and one just recently, like yesterday when we were talking, and I don't know if you mentioned it earlier, I'm sorry if you did, you guys get a full day to volunteer at your favorite charitable organization. I don't know any other company that does that right now. That's unbelievable. Do you guys do other things like that? I mean, that's awesome.
Look, I think that there's definitely a constant focus on what else can we do to really ensure that everybody just doesn't look at this as just a job. It's actually driven from the family, the Perkins family, all the way down. Mary is very involved in a variety of different, charities and causes that she feels passionate about, and also quite a few of them, not unsurprisingly, are related to our profession. So I think that when it comes to every day, and you mentioned just the volunteer day earlier on, Claudia mentioned about the birthday leave. People use labels like employer of choice and all of that stuff, unless you do stuff that are meaningful to people, then it's only really a bumper sticker, really, isn't it? I think that when it comes to us, we encourage really for our local partners to be involved in the community and do stuff that resonate and they're useful in the local communities. But as a business as well, we do want to encourage doing our bit to really create a better society around us, help people that need some help. Quite often in partner events, we tend to have raffles that our partners choose a worthy cause to support. So in general, there's an awful lot of involvement, and anything that we do really goes through quite a bit of a conversation process with our partners, because we need to be doing things that really resonate with them as well.
Oh, that's great. I mean, us at Lauren and I at the OOA, we've always been strong believers and, community outreach, being part of the community. That way the community get to know their opticians and what an optician is. It's great for the public. And I think it's great for opticians themselves as well. There's value there, right? There's tremendous pride as well that gets included in that. And I think that's wonderful that you guys are doing something like this.
For sure. And, we're fairly new in Canada. And if I sort of track back a little bit, stuff that we did as a brand in Australia over the last 15 years is there's a very active outreach program in remote communities, Indigenous communities, also responding and doing our bit when, unfortunately, in that part of the world, you will have some cyclone events. And there's been a lot of, examples where our team of opticians and optometrists have, jetted across to Fiji and helped some of the local communities by camping out in their communities and providing some eye exams and much needed dispensing of spectacles as well. And, it's that team that comes together that, as we said before, is so powerful when an optometrist and an optician work so well together to really deliver the end-to-end service. And not unsurprising, our partners and our teams love this sort of community involvement, doing their bit that helps, because it takes them out of their everyday work a little bit, but it feels good to help somebody, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. There's nothing like seeing somebody with a nice smile on after you help them out, right?
We've been talking about where you've been, where you came from, the model. So where are you going? What's your goal here? Is your goal to just open a couple stores a year? Is your goal, as the OOA, a big part of our concern is opticians working and different opportunities, different practice models for opticians to work in. So when we hear expansion, we love to hear that. If opticians can work in really great environments. So what are your goals here in Canada? And actually, being a little Ontario-centric, if you could touch upon what your goals are in Ontario too.
Sure. No, of course. Thanks, Lorne. I think that unashamedly we made a statement, and we're very open about our plans. So if people are still wondering, probably they shouldn't. We're here to stay. We want to be part of Canada and Canada optics for a long time, if not forever. I'm sure there is forever as well somewhere. The reality then is that our statement categorically stated we would love to open 200 locations and 200 stores. That in itself still is our objective, and we are making some tremendous progress towards that objective. So where we are today, we have 40 stores that are open and trading, delighting the customers in their community, and not unsurprisingly, enjoying the benefit of a lot of outside prescriptions coming in because, again, as Claudia said, our stores look great. We've got a great offer, and people are actually coming in and voting with their feet, which is great for us. The objective then is when we are at 40 today, I can tell you that if you take Ontario at the moment, we have 5 stores up and running. There'll be 10 by January. And we've committed over $50 million just in Ontario to back the right people to keep growing the business in Ontario. So if 200 stores are going to be across the 3 provinces that we have our focus right here and now, a very significant part of that will be in Ontario because this is where a lot of people live, and it's a pretty significant province. And we're on a trajectory really to keep working beyond the 60 or so stores that we're going to end up by the end of February, keep on building and working our way towards the goal of 200. Certainly next year, we'll have a lot of focus in Ontario. So there's an awful lot of opportunities, and I'm as Ontario-centric as you are, Lorne, and I'd love for us to really keep developing opportunities for local opticians in Ontario.
Is there a large advertising budget? Because, you know, I've seen a couple of ads on TV. I watch American TV a lot, so I haven't seen much. But just to go down that road real briefly, because we've been on for a while here. So is there a large advertising budget, and is it geared more towards price, or is it geared towards let's take care of your eyes?
Well, I just want to say first, I mean, I'm a huge hockey fan, Lorne, you know that. And one of the places that I've seen it is when they do reviews on TV for goals or offside and anything else, and it says, you know, presented to you by Specsavers. So right away, that just like came right out at me. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, indeed, and yeah, Sportnet and us are good friends, and we will carry on because clearly sport is pretty important in Canada. I think that certainly it's no secret, Lorne. We are a marketing and advertising driven business that has optometry and optician at the core of our heart. Undoubtedly, our marketing budget here is like nothing ever seen in Canada before. We have already spent a considerable amount of money in advertising, and we will not stop. So essentially, we will be carrying on spending in the millions. And by the time we're done, probably by the end of this year coming, we will probably be one of the top 20 advertisers in terms of spend in the whole of Canada. That's what millions, and you can quantify what that number exactly is by what I described. So we will keep on spending, and clearly, again, think about how Specsavers works in support of our partners. We will keep on spending millions to support and grow volume and provide that sort of brand awareness in every community of who Specsavers is, what do we do. And the messages, as we might have seen already, there are a mix between accessible eye care and having the need for an eye exam. You mentioned some statistics earlier on, and unfortunately, they don't vary so much from country to country, which is a bit sad. We're all driving home sometime, and you want to make sure that everybody around us also has good vision when they're driving. So, and beyond just the everyday, you know, I want to see well, is about all the other things that an OCT can really have that prognostic capability to really stop something before it becomes a big issue. And, you know, vision, so important for everyone. If we can help by really accentuating the messages, and edging and nudging Canadians to have more frequent eye exams, fantastic. So I think there will be a mix of the value message as well as the do the right thing and look after your eyes. We're here to look after your eyes. You just need to really take the next step and come and see us and make it easy for people to see an optician and an optometrist wherever they may be.
That's excellent because, advertising, of course, is Specsavers advertising for Specsavers. But from a selfish standpoint, for Opticianry, you're bringing eyes upon us. And the more you talk about eye care, that's bringing more people into the market, so wherever an optician is practicing. So I appreciate the advertising. Obviously, it's focused on Specsavers, but everybody in the profession benefits from bringing eyes to the profession.
You're spot on, Lorne. And historically, if you look at Australia, we created a business from nothing in 2008, the first store opened. There's a degree of similarity in some of the commentary, but I think that if you look forward 15 years from when we opened, the industry has expanded tremendously. Everybody has benefited, but at the end of the day, if all of us put the customer first, then the customer first and foremost has benefited because they can have more frequent eye exams, easy to book an appointment, you don't have to wait so long, and also have spectacles that you can use and contact lenses for that matter.
Claudia, 2023 is upon us. What are your plans? What are your plans for you? What are your plans for Specsavers going forward?
It's an exciting year ahead. The plan is to continue to support channels to support opticians. So develop our own talent as well. So we've got some eye care consultants as well that we will put them through the path of becoming opticians. And it's all about developing our current opticians and creating opticians from within, ensuring we have the right supports and resources in place. And that I get that question asked all the time. How do you plan to sustain your growth of 200 stores by the end of 2024 with the shortage of opticians? Well, it's pretty simple. I think it is, if you truly create an environment and a culture that you want to be a part of, A, you're going to attract the right talent, but B, we will continue to develop opticians to create that hunger from within that others, may be curious about, but also develop eye care consultants to become opticians from within and create that surplus of opticians that we need.
That's great. Mike said something yesterday that when we have during our conversation off camera, off air, there's a bright future for Opticianry, especially if we work together. And that really stuck with me. I think everybody wants to do better going forward. And working together, opticians, optometrists, and having a great backing from your local association, your national association, I think there really is a bright future for opticians. And you guys are going to be a big part of that, I think, for 2023. Thank you so much for joining us today and, giving us a little bit of peek behind the curtain. But if any of our members or listeners want to get in touch with you and ask a question, where should they reach you or how can they reach you?
Yeah, so thanks, Martin. And it's a simple email address. It's enquiries.ca@specsavers.com. I'll repeat this, enquiries.ca@specsavers.com. Simple email. Give us a telephone number and a little bit about you, and we'll get right back to you and start the conversation. As Claudia said, there will be a variety of the association members that will reach out. If you're not ready to be a partner and a business owner today, don't be shy. Please continue your path of getting in touch with us, because joining us is your first step. We will also keep working with our internal cohort of associates, whether they're eye care consultants that become opticians that become managers through development and learning new skills and really embracing that all new knowledge and putting it into action. Future partners will come from within the store as well. This is about harnessing talent from within and giving opportunities to everybody that has really joined us.
Great. Well, Mike, Claudia, thank you so much for coming on. Claudia, once again, I'm sure I'd love to do this again next year, maybe at the end of next year, and we can get an update on what's going on and all the great things that you're doing. And we thank you for the support that you give to Opticianry. And it's been a great year. We've worked with you as an association also, which has been wonderful. And thank you for coming out and, like Martin said, giving us a peek behind the curtain. You know, it was very candid, and we appreciate it. And we wish you guys all the best and all the luck in 2023.
Thank you, Lauren. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to our next update. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to share a little bit about the Specsavers love.
And Mike, we'll see you soon again, I hope.
Thank you for the opportunity to discuss. It's always lovely to see you and speak to you. We look forward to seeing you in person next time around when I'm in Toronto. And I've already promised Martin that I'll swing around and catch up with him. But, thank you, Lorne. And thank you for all you do, by the way, because this is a great channel for us to really reach out and really provide some information for your members. And we can't really thank you enough. So, but thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. All the best for 2023 to you and your families, and health especially. We'll talk to you real soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was a great conversation, Martin, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure was. Learned quite a few things, actually, that I was not aware of before about that company.
We sure did. There's so many things. And one thing that I didn't realize, it's a family-owned business. And when you think thousands of stores now, they built it, and it's worldwide. What did you get out of this conversation?
Well, I think a couple key points for me that stood out, to be honest with you, Lauren, is that, first of all, they want to talk to everybody and anybody. It doesn't mean they're going to have a store with you or they're going to do business with you, but they want to learn about people. I think they're there to collect information and really listen to what's happening out there. I think they really want to be in tune with what's happening in our optical industry in Canada on the ground running. The other thing too that stood out for me is how they want to make sure their employees is part of the community, how they take care of their employees, like by giving them their day off on their birthday, by giving them a day to volunteer for their favorite charities in their community. To me, that that resonates a lot. I think those are great things.
Yeah. I also learned, well, we knew about this before, that because I don't know if any other companies are quite this business model where it gives an optician an opportunity to get into business, because we know what it takes to get into business today, the time, the money, the risk. It's very daunting. And this is a business model where you make an investment. They partner you up with hopefully an optometrist, and the company takes a piece, and you work together, and it's a model. So you hit the ground running with this type of thing.
Exactly. I think it's just a new opportunity for opticians. Is that going to work for everybody? Definitely not. I mean, everybody does business differently. But again, it's another opportunity that's there for opticians, and it's up to them to take it or move on to the next one.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's and the other thing I realized, the goal of this couple when they started the company, their vision was to have quality eyewear at regular, decent prices, and the same with eye exams. So, again, another business model. Not everyone can afford the high-end lenses, high-end designer frames and that. So their business plan was to make vision care accessible. And they say that they're going to continue. That's their business model, to raise the stature of opticians, which I really like that, because that seems to come out in quite a bit of our discussions when we talk with Claudia and with Michael. And but again, making vision care accessible. So, as an independent, we look and say, oh, more competition, this and that. But you know what? There's lots of people out there, and there's enough for everybody. So we have to, as a profession, we got to make sure that people have access, whether they want a complete pair of glasses at a budget price, or if they want to go high end with digital personalized lenses and designer frames. So there should be something for everybody.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Lauren. I mean, obviously, they found that there was a gap in our industry, and there was a place for their type of business and their price point, and that's why they're here, and they're going to fulfill that as best as they can. and we can't, say anything negative against that. Again, it's up to Ontarians to decide where they want to go shop for their glasses, where they feel comfortable, and get the best buck for their, best quality for their dollar they're going to spend.
Yeah. And again, everyone has different priorities. When you're out in the field there and you're working your dispensary, sometimes you give someone a price of the, good, better, best, and you can't understand why they're not buying the best. You get those patients. I say, I'll take the one in the middle. And I would always say, why would you want to wear the best if you can afford it? And so bottom line is everyone has their own priorities. They might drive a car for $100,000, but no way would they pay $800, $1,000, $1,500 for a pair of glasses. That's absolutely ridiculous. So, as you said, there should be something for everybody out there. Mm-hmm. And we learned that Specsavers, they're fulfilling a spot within a certain price range, and service, because they feel that service is very important and they take it very seriously. So it's not just the lowest price, but they feel they're giving a very reasonable price, but maintaining service and quality. And they use licensed opticians, and that's what really resonates with us, and that's why we love talking to them.
Exactly. They hire the right people, and we're going to keep supporting companies that are going to actually hire licensed opticians as well. Lauren, it was a great pleasure again to having a great podcast for the first one for the year. Thank you so much to Specsavers, to Mike and Claudia for being our guests today. We're looking forward to speak with them again in the future. Lauren, again, thank you so much. We'll talk real soon. Till the next time.
Okay, Martin, thank you. All the best. Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to See What We See. This podcast is brought to you by the Ontario Opticians Association. For more information or to become a member, go to our website at www.ontario-opticians.com. For all the latest updates, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Ontario Opticians Association, on Twitter, OOA_frontline, and on LinkedIn, Ontario-Opticians-Association. Don't miss an episode of See What We See, and subscribe to this podcast on your favorite streaming service. Thank you from the Ontario Opticians Association, the voice of opticians for 75 years.